Okay, so yeah, I am Jordan from O & Co Games. I'm the lead developer behind our game TetherGeist, which you are going to be like distractedly watching over my shoulder probably throughout this whole video. So I write the code, I do the music, and then I have two people I'm working with. They're fantastic artists and storytellers. So people here at the booth tend to always talk about how beautiful it is, and I say, you know, since I'm not the one who did the artwork, I don't have to be humble about it. Yes, it is beautiful. Rachel and Noah are the people I'm working with, and they are just masterminds. There's a lot of inspiration in their artwork. It comes from, you can probably look for it and see a lot of Hyper Light Drifter influence in there. People who love Celeste always come here, and we hear Celeste, like, I want to say 3 out of 4 times somebody opens their mouth at this booth. And we'll take that as a compliment, right? We love Celeste, we're big into that game as well. But at the same time, we're not a clone. Like, we have a lot of unique movement mechanics and a lot of things in this game that are very unique to TetherGeist. But if you like Celeste, like, this is the game for you. This is kind of what we've been looking for as our next Celeste. I've been floating around the indie scene for 6 years looking for that, and finally decided maybe I'll just make it myself, which isn't actually the full backstory. It's a different backstory, which I guess if I've got all the time, right,
yeah,
I could just get right into that. We met at GMTK 2021 Jam, this online thing. Well, we didn't meet. We got together as a team for that. GMTK 2021, the theme was joined together. So that morning, I kind of just, as I was getting ready for the day after watching Mark Brown's video on it, was thinking of ideas, and we came up with this idea that you could split with your spirit, maneuver it in certain ways the body can't, and then rejoin with that spirit after you're able to do that. We participated in GMTK Jam that year. There were 6,000 entries, and we got 10th in the popular vote. So that's when we kind of like started looking at each other like, maybe this is more than just a good idea. Maybe this is something we could pursue as like a commercial endeavor. So now it's been like 3 years in development since then, and we've created this that you're seeing behind us. So a lot more refined than something you would make in like a 48-hour jam like we did for GMTK. As far as the mechanics go, like I said, there's that split and rejoin mechanic. That's part of what we're calling Chapter 1. It's a very story-driven game, so we do have chapters. Shamelessly, something that Celeste does as well, we know, but it's part of what we use to tell the story. Excuse me. And each chapter has a unique movement mechanic. So the very first one is that split and rejoin. The second one, though, is more of kind of a slingshot mechanic, where if you enter the sphere of these jellyfish that you've probably now watched 5 or 6 times over my shoulder, depending on where you activate the rejoin, that's what kind of creates the momentum in that direction with the jellyfish. There's a push and pull mechanic with that one, similar to like the Mistborn novels, if that's something that anybody is into. Anyway, the whole game is going to be 7 chapters for like the main story. We're looking at 8 chapters, but there's true endings and things that I'm not going to spoil too much here. Ultimately, each chapter has a unique mechanic in it. We've already wireframed that out. So the game is honestly getting really close to completion. We believe we can finish it by January. So I keep telling people in the public we're going to have it ready by March of next year. I could definitely see myself coming back and rewatching this and saying, oh, naive Jordan, it was June the whole time. So if we get out in June, at least that's only 3 months after the public's view instead of 6 months after what we're actually aiming for, right? At this moment in time, we have a demo of it available on Steam. That's about 2 to 3 hours of gameplay. We brought like a 15-minute gameplay loop here for PAX, but what is available on Steam is 2 to 3 hours, totally free. We just want people to play test it as much as we can. That's something that's really important to our dev process. Constantly, iteratively play testing, making sure the game plays and feels how we envision it playing. We know that we've been playing the game way too much, and so I'm a terrible play tester. So at the end of the day, I want to just speedrun the whole thing, but putting it in front of other people that aren't going to have the developer over their shoulder and just quietly sitting back and watching them play has been a really important and integral part of our design process. And anyway, I am babbling at this point because it's something that I am so excited about. I could probably talk for hours, but it should be about all the information that I need to share. Is there anything else?
Will it be releasing on any other platforms other than Steam in the future?
Yes. So Steam is kind of the easiest barrier to entry, but we are building it on Game Maker Studio, and so licensing for Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, all of that is pretty easy as far as porting is concerned. So we're going to put it on every console we possibly can, and yeah, anything that has a controller, it will be on that. So
very cool. And lastly, if you had to give someone one reason why they had to play your game. You only got 2 minutes of their time, in fact, less than 2 minutes. Let's say you are passing somebody on the street, you don't have a lot of time. What would you tell them to convince them to play this game?
I'd first make sure that you like precision platformers. If you like precision platformers, this is the next Celeste, at least in my view. I'm biased, but ultimately it's going to scratch that same itch. If you're not super into platformers, my biggest pitch would be that it teaches you patience and perseverance in a very healthy way. We let you fail over and over again. You get checkpoints really briefly. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be punished for failing. You're just going to continue to learn. I don't know, maybe be a little bit of a better person. Is that too much of a stretch? Right? Like, be a better person for playing it. Did I do that in less than a minute?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, we might have gone slightly over, but that's okay.
All right, I think I can live with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm excited to play the full game.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for your time.